Hello, welcome back to a SwansCast match preview, the first one of the new season, of course, as we kick off on Saturday with another trip to Middlesbrough. And I've got Dana joining me here from the Boro Breakdown. So welcome back, Dana. I know you've been here before, so nice to speak to you again.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. It's great to be on here.
And I know we've just spoke for the reverse of this. If you want to check that out, you can do that on Dana's channel. So would you like to tell us where we can find all of your content and the reverse of this video as well?
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube, the Boro Breakdown Podcast. We're on Spotify, all your podcast providers. I always forget which ones they are. But yeah, we post a podcast reacting to the games every Sunday. So if you want to catch the post Swansea podcast, then that will be posted at around probably 1 o'clock-ish on Sunday afternoon.
Brilliant. And as you've just mentioned, bit of an element of deja vu for this fixture because Swansea had taken the trip north again for the first game of the season, 2 years in a row. So not sure who's done the fixture list, but definitely need to have a look at that because it's a bit. I mean, it's just you just like different, don't you? When you get that announcement of the fixtures, you just don't want to see the same games that you had last year.
No, definitely not.
But there we go. It is what it is. Hopefully, we can bring back a different result. But okay, so let's have a look at that game. Before we get to this game, though, I just want to ask quickly, because as you mentioned in the previous video, Middlesbrough finished 10th, Swansea finished 11th last season. So quite closely matched. But how was your performance last season and that result finishing 10th in regards to your expectations for where you thought you might have finished last season?
Yeah, it was a major disappointment. Last season was immeasurably frustrating, and I think I've been used to frustration with the Middlesbrough, but not like that. That was painfully frustrating for us. I think I never build our squad up particularly high. First team, I think, really good at this level, but the squad depth. We've been in the Championship for many years. We know that you need a good squad, and particularly with our injury issues over the last 3 or 4 seasons, you need it especially. And we ran into injury problems last season as we did the season before last. And I think towards the end of the campaign, honestly, we smacked of a side that had just ran out of ideas under Michael Carrick. Carrick couldn't really get us going again. We had a really, really, really poor January that made us worse. And we lost Emmanuel Ate-Lath to Atlanta. We lost Ben Doak to injury at the start of February, I think it was. And we just didn't look the same team. We looked one-dimensional. We looked too easy to target. We looked weak off the ball, and Carrick couldn't really find a fix to those problems. And I think because of that, he lost a lot of credit that he'd banked up 2 seasons ago when he got us in the playoffs. And ultimately, the fans started to really turn and become quite vocal against him. So when he was sacked, it wasn't a surprise. But yeah, the season was immeasurably disappointing. We've gone from 4th to 8th to 10th under him, and yeah, it felt like the end of the season was very obvious, very evidenced regression under him, which was very unfortunate. But the consequence of that, Michael Carrick losing his job, wasn't a surprise whatsoever.
So what's changed since then over the summer, and what do you expect going into this year, with those changes in mind?
Well, the manager, first and foremost, Rob Edwards, coming in, and with him, he brings Harry Watlin and Eddie Vivesh. Eddie Vivesh, formerly of Coventry, the kind of mastermind, if you will, behind Matt Robbins' Coventry's ascent. And I think because of what we've seen of Rob Edwards in the EFL at Forest Green and at Luton, he plays a back three, which is, I think it could be a pretty difficult transition, at least initially for Boro, because our squad has been built for a 4-2-3-1 over the years. And I'm looking at the options that he has. I don't feel like it suits a 3 at the back. And I love a 3 at the back. I think it can be really flexible. You can have it really attacking with the wing backs getting forward, providing width. Alternatively, if you're up against it a little bit, you can kind of sit back and become a 5. It's really flexible, really fluid. But I just don't, I feel like it absolutely needs the options. And I don't think that Rob Edwards quite has the right options right now anyway. I know we've just signed Callum Britton from Blackburn, very good right wing back signing for us. I think that is a brilliant addition. But I fear that the beginning of the season could be a little bit difficult. That transition, that pass over between Michael Carrick's style of play and Rob Edwards' style of play could be a little bit janky and clunky, if you will.
Bit of a transition season then, potentially. I know you mentioned signing a right back, that you were linked with Josh Key a couple of weeks ago, weren't you? So I was quite happy to see that you went a different direction in the end. But speaking of transfers then, what other notable incomings or outgoings have there been with your squad over the summer?
We've signed only 3 players so far. Alfie Jones was the first addition that we made with 15 days to go until the start of the season, which, we've been pretty slow in the market this summer, weirdly. And then Abdoulaye Kante came in from Troyes in the second division of France. And then Callum Britton, as I mentioned, came in from Blackburn. I think in the case of Alfie Jones, a kind of run-of-the-mill, solid centre-back at this level, kind of been there, done it, part of the furniture in the Championship. I think a solid signing to maybe improve Boro's floor, the low level of the team. Abdoulaye Kante, I think a signing with potential. He's a centre midfielder, more of a think about N'Golo Kante. Basically, that's kind of the same profile, albeit obviously not the same quality level. And then Callum Britton, I think the signing so far, we've absolutely needed a right wing back. We got one. We got a very good one by all accounts. And then as far as outgoings, we sold Josh Coburn to Millwall. He could have a decent season, actually. I know they've signed Alfie Doughty, so that could be a good partnership there. That service for Coburn could be good. Not a big loss for me as far as Boro are concerned. But I think the main kind of talk in terms of outgoings, they're yet to be done. It's Rav van den Berg, centre-back, linked with firstly Feyenoord, and then secondly, I think it's Köln in Germany, and then Hayden Hackney, linked with a Championship record move to Ipswich, but he turned that down. I feel like Boro fans are kind of accepting that it's inevitable that he will leave. So to be honest, for a long time, the transfer window kind of felt like Boro were at a standstill, and maybe with a departure, maybe if Rav leaves or Hackney leaves, it'll kind of generate the funds for Boro to really get going in the window, which, to be honest, we need, because we need a lot of additions.
Yeah, I think we still need a few more signings. We've spoken in the reverse again about squad depth for both teams. So it'll be interesting this game, really, to see where we are, I guess, when it comes to playing each other. And I wonder if the changes on the bench will make a difference later in the game. So you mentioned you've changed your manager, changed your style. So how do you expect to set up and approach the season now under Rob Edwards?
I think, as I mentioned, it'll be that 3 at the back, pretty intentful press out of possession, which is a massive change to the way that Michael Carrick set up his Middlesbrough side. We were quite passive off the ball with Michael Carrick in charge. So that's a difference. It really puts onus on Boro's fitness levels, which, as I've kind of already alluded to, our injury issues for the last few seasons has been really, really just infuriating. It's beyond a joke at this point. So there's that. I think also he might be a little bit more direct in that, probably playing a little bit more forward than side to side and recycling the ball. I think he'll try to get Boro playing with more intent in possession, which definitely got lost under Michael Carrick towards the back end of his tenure. And then probably emphasis on using those wing backs, because that's what they're there for, right? They're there to provide that attacking output and crosses into the box. I think that's maybe something that we can expect as well. But as I said, I don't think Swansea fans can expect a fully baked Middlesbrough side in the way that Rob Edwards wants to play, because it's early days. I think there'll be a transition period and it'll have to kind of be allowed time to blossom and grow. So yeah, there's a few tactical differences that are going to be maybe notable from the first game last season against Swansea. So we'll just see how that fares. Yeah, I kind of feel like there may be a few teething issues there.
We'll have to wait and see. I think it might be similar for us as well. So hopefully it's just not a dull 0-0. But
I don't
know the way this is going. I'm starting to think I want to take back my prediction from what we just spoke about. But we'll leave it there. Okay, so 3 players in your team that stand out, the ones for us to watch when we're looking at this game.
Probably say Tommy Conway. He's a really good player at this level. I think he got 13 goals last season, which was the most from any permanent signing in the Championship last season. I think he could maybe kick on again this season. He scored a few goals in pre-season as well. He looks like he's playing more within the box, whereas under Michael Carrick, he floated out wide a few times to kind of receive the ball on the wing. So I think he could be, it's maybe Morgan Whitaker. I know you're obviously familiar with Morgan Whitaker.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot that Morgan Whitaker had gone to Middlesbrough. But that's a big story. I completely forgot about that.
You know what? Like,
yeah,
I'm
he's
not
not the best
surprised.
liked by our fans now.
Yeah,
But
I'm
he
not
hasn't really
surprised by
done
that
much
either.
since he's moved to you, has he?
No, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, I'm not surprised that you can't remember, because 16 games, 0 goals, and to be honest, his performance levels weren't great either. So I don't know. He's looked better in pre-season, but we'll see when the actual games start, because he's needed to really announce himself at Middlesbrough. He failed to do that last season in the appearances that he had. So fingers crossed from a Boro perspective that he can do that. So maybe, like, with the narrative there, maybe he's one to look out for as well. And for a third player, maybe Britain, actually. Maybe Britain, because from everything that I've heard from Blackburn fans, they really rate him highly as one of the best, like, right wing backs or right backs in the league. So we'll see kind of how he fits in. I feel like his transition from Blackburn to Middlesbrough will be good, will be smoother, because I just feel like he fits the way that Rob Edwards wants to play. So probably earmark them, but Callum Britton, kind of an asterisk over him, only if he starts, because I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if Luke Ayling starts at right wing back, although I hope not.
We'll have to wait and see, and I hope Whitaker doesn't announce himself. I'll be totally honest with you. I think he's a player that thrived after being like a big fish in a small pond.
Yes.
Wondering whether maybe that he struggles then when there's more tension or expectation. We'll see.
I agree.
He didn't hit the heights with us, and threw his toys at the pram to leave then. So I feel like he threw his toys at the pram to leave Plymouth as well, to be fair, after he wanted to go. So yeah. Well, anyway, enough said about him. One player from Swansea that you would add to Middlesbrough's team?
Franco. That is shadow of a doubt. I really rate him. I think he's quietly going to be one of the best midfielders in the Championship, I would say. And I was kind of looking at the back end of last season, players that delusionally saw players that Boro or would fit Boro. I think he would fit us really well. So I would, I rate him a lot, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how his season goes. If indeed he stays at Swansea, but was quietly impressed with him the back end of last season in particular, and yeah, I think he could have a good season for you guys.
Yeah, I hope he stays. I do think if he does continue his trajectory of what he did last year this season, maybe it'll be tricky to keep him next year if we manage to. Well, I mean, if we go up, obviously it's different, but I don't know if that's the expectation. So yeah, it's one of those where you do want him to smash it at the park, but then you know you're going to be looking over your shoulder for keeping him. But then that's kind of what things are built on these days. You need that to happen to continue to reinvest, which it's a shame to see them go. But sometimes you need the money, don't you?
For sure.
Okay, what is the prediction for this match then for you?
Yeah, I said on our show 1-1, was it? I said I know I nailed my colours to the mast and said that it's going to be a draw. We've gone about pre-season being the draw experts. It seems 4 out of 6 games we've drawn, and we've kind of fallen off a cliff in the second half as well. So if Boro are leading the game at the weekend, just expect there to be still a chance for Swansea to get back into the game, because we don't have the depth and we can't really maintain those kind of fitness levels on that aggressive press that Rob Edwards wants. So yeah, I'd probably say a 1-1 for the game at the weekend.
I think, you said 1-0. I said 2-1 to Middlesbrough. We'll see how that goes then when it comes to Saturday. So last question, which is not really football related, but I like to end the videos on a bit of a more novelty note, if you like. So can you name a place in Wales you would like to visit and why you would like to go there?
Oh, well, that's interesting.
A little bit on the spot, but I'm just curious what people have to say.
I would actually go your stadium, because I went there in 2013, Capital One Cup fixture. Seb Hines scored an own goal. It was a mammoth journey over there. It was around Christmas. We got stuck in traffic. I was watching It's a Wonderful Life in the reflection of the window. And I also won, I think it was like a few, I can't remember how much money it was, but I won money on a bingo card, or a blind card, sorry. So yeah, good memories from that. So I'd probably go back to Wales. I do want to get some away games in next season, and just for because I want to mention it. I much prefer Swansea to Cardiff. So yes,
See,
I
this
will.
is why that question's in there. That's what we all want to hear.
Yes, I'd go the Swansea.com Stadium or whatever it's called now.
Yeah,
Liberty.
I know the name.
I always
call it the
remember it's
Liberty. That's what it's really called.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, you're welcome back to come down. Obviously, later in the season, it is a bit of a trek. I'm not going to be going up to Middlesbrough. I'm not going to lie. It's a long, journey. So, but yeah, thank you for joining me, Dana. Can you remind everyone where they can find the Boro Breakdown, please?
Yes, we're on YouTube and we're on all of the podcast providers that are out there as well.
So go check that out. Obviously, there's a flip of this video from the other perspective if you want to hear what I had to say about the match from Swansea side of view. And of course, as Dana mentioned, they'll be doing post-match content on the match as well if you want to go check out the thoughts after whatever the result is on the weekend. So go and give them a little bit of your time. Thank you very much for joining me, Dana, and I'm sure I'll catch up with you later in the season. As you mentioned to me, good luck for your season after this weekend.
Thank you.